Today is the first ever annual Curl Crush Day. It's all about celebrating your own hair, especially if you are someone who has curly hair. Do we have any curly hair friends in here? People got some curls going on. I've always been jealous of curls, but apparently today I'm supposed to crush on my own hair. So I don't know. Curls are so beautiful. I've always been a little jealous. So it's first ever annual Curl Crush Day. It's like literally starting today. So super interesting that like this is the first time that we could even possibly celebrate it. Um, it maybe, I don't know, Jasmine, it might be also if you have a crush on someone with curly hair. I feel like that's totally fine. My boyfriend has curly hair and I definitely have a crush on him. So that's how I'm going to celebrate this day too. So I love it. That's a great interpretation. Amira has a little bit of curl. I love it. Moses is not as curly as it was before. I get it. Yeah. Usually when we cut it short, it can get a little like wavy. So when my boyfriend, his hair is short, he just got it cut real short yesterday. And it's like he has like a fade. It's like short on the side, longer on the top. But when it gets long, like it starts to do this like little whoop-you. Does like a little curly business. I've definitely got a crush on that. Yeah. When you grow, sometimes more wavy than curly for sure. Well, it's Curl Crush Day, so whether you're crushing on someone with curls or you're crushing on your own hair, today's the day for you. It is Alexia and Marley's birthday tomorrow, so if you know them or are friends with them, you can reach out and say happy birthday tomorrow. It's also St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, so gotta wear your green, I guess. Is that the only way to follow it? Oh, good question, Amira. I totally forgot. Amira asked in the chat, Miss, did you find your razor? She means my razor phone. Amira, I totally forgot to look for it. I failed. Look, I'm gonna write it down. Look for razor phone. If y'all were not in Mr. Langdon's class yesterday, you missed a rousing discussion about how I still have my razor phone from when I was in high school, like 12 or 15 years ago, maybe longer than that. And Amira challenged me to find my phone, and then people started betting money, like $600, to buy my phone off of me, a vintage razor. So that's what happened to Mr. Langdon's class. Should have been there. It was a great time. So Amira, I will look for it, and if I can find it, I will show you on Thursday. I apologize. I totally spaced. That was a funny conversation. All right, cool. So Curl Crush Day, we're making it happen today. Here is what is on the docket for today. Today, we're gonna jump into announcements. Then we're gonna take some quick notes, but our notes today are PT1, right? So we are going to jump into, some learning about debit cards and credit cards. So you may know some things, you may not know some things, but today we're gonna learn about it. So first, our announcements. It is week 10. Yeah, only next week is our last week. So we have PT 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I put this note here. At the end of week 11, our modules are going to close, right? So I don't know if it's going to be Thursday or Friday yet. Trying to work it out so that not all the teachers have the same deadline for you. You're welcome. So we have modules closing either Thursday or Friday of next week, and then you won't be able to turn anything in. So don't be thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be working all next weekend. No, this weekend is the last weekend that you could be doing stuff. So if you're one of those people who's a big procrastinator and you're like, oh, I'll do it later, miss, or like, I know I can get it all done. Now's the time. Let me boots to butt right now. Like now's the time for us to move along. So that is our plan. I did want to highlight there are a few of us, like a good number of us, who have some missing assignments. So if you are in this green box, you need 31 still. That'd be a good place to work. If you are in this teal box, you need 32. And if you are in this blue box, you need 33. Okay. Just a reminder, as always, you can reach out to Miss Yama or to me for support on any assignment, not just these ones. And Miss Yama has office hours from 10:30 to noon every day. Well, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. But you can for sure reach out, and you should have access to message her if you check out the chat box, because she is a co-host. So you can message her or you can message me. Cool. That is the end of our announcements. Are there any questions? Any questions? We're wrapping up the quarter. Might be questions about that. Questions about grades. Maybe not a question, just a chance for me to sip my coffee. Okay, if you have those questions, keep typing them. Would love to see them. Feel free to send me them. All right, in the meantime, we are going to get ready for our notes. What date exactly are the modules closing? Jasmine, the 25th or 26th. I do not know yet. So modules closing March 25 or 26. The reason I don't know yet is because I'm trying to work out with the other. I know like Miss Ortiz is closing on Wednesday and Mr. Langdon is closing on Thursday, but I don't know if Miss Pohl is going to close Thursday or Friday. And I don't want us to have like 3 teachers all on the same day. So whatever Miss Pohl chooses, I will choose the opposite one. So if she chooses Friday, I'll choose Thursday. If she chooses Thursday, I'll choose Friday. So I'm trying to like spread it out for you just a little bit. All right. So today we're going to learn about financial literacy, AKA let's learn about money. Financial means like money, and literacy means literally means to read, right? It's the study of reading or the ability to read. If you are literate, that means that you are able to read and write and speak about money, right? So financial literacy. Today in your assignment, you do have a link to the assignment there, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat. If I could have everyone open this assignment, please. Open the assignment, por favor. All kinds of accents and words in here. You should have something that looks like this. I see a bunch of you in there. Go ahead and make a copy. Make a copy. You're going to need one for yourself. And then it's going to be kind of like Mr. Langdon's class. You're going to have a chance to take notes. And we're going to have a little bit of a chance to just take some notes on some general ideas on debit cards and credit cards. Okay, so let's look at the assignment real fast. In the assignment, it's going to look very similar to what you've seen in my class. You have your section for your notes. If you want to write your notes by hand, you can. You can take a picture of them and post them right here. If you want to type your notes, you can. You can put them in here. If you want to type a notes on a new document and then link your document in, that's fine. You can do that here, right? However you want to take notes today, that is totally option. That's up to you. What you cannot do is screenshot my slides and post the screenshots in here. You got to actually take some notes on your own. Okay. Then for part 1, we're going to have some scenarios and you're going to walk through why or why not you would do them. And for part 2, you're going to take a little quiz based off the information that we learned today. Part 3 just asks about what questions you still have after our time together. So that's it, y'all. We're going to jump in, though, to our notes. Is there any question about the assignment before we get started? Any questions about the assignment before we get started? All right, are we pumped to learn about money? It's exactly what you wanted to do on a Tuesday, isn't it? Yes, great. I'm glad. All right, so last week, many of you answered our polls and you asked some really good questions. Ooh, before I start, obviously there's already a lot of words on here. Should you write down everything that's on my slide? Is that a good note-taking strategy? No, don't write everything down on my slide, right? You're going to choose what's important and you're going to write those things down. Okay? Just important, yes. All right, so our overview. You all asked some amazing questions in our latest survey. One of the questions was, is it better to use a credit card or a debit card? Great question. One of them was, what's the best bank for students? Great question. One of them was, how can I open up a credit account? Great question. How to get credit scores up was a question that you all asked. And how do we know when our credit is good enough? Right, so those are all questions that I'm hoping to be able to answer, or I hope that you will be able to answer by the end of this lesson. Okay. If you have any other questions, I'm happy to hear them as well. All right. So if at any point during our lesson you have questions, feel free to send them in the chat and I will answer them when we get there. So first things first, let's just talk about credit versus debit. Okay. So credit cards and debit cards 101. Credit cards and debit cards look the same. If I showed you a picture of a credit card and a picture of a debit card, it'd be very challenging to tell the difference. The one difference is that usually on a credit card, it says credit, and on a debit card, it says debit. But usually they make that language very small, right? Very small on the card. So they're both plastic cards. You can swipe them both ways. Some of them have like, you know, the little tap feature. Some of them you like put the chip in, but essentially they're the same idea. It's a card with like a little stripe of electronic on it that you can use like cash when you're buying money. But they have two big differences. A credit card, you pay by the end of the month. So when you go to Starbucks, you swipe your card, right? You go to Starbucks, you swipe your card. It's $4. Hi, Josh. It's $4 or $5, maybe $6, maybe $7 or $8 if you're a Starbucks baller. You go and you pay for your things. Essentially what's happening is the credit card company is paying your bill for you, right? The credit card company is paying for you and they're keeping a list of all the things that they pay for you, right? And at the end of the month, they're going to send you a bill for that amount of money. So maybe I spend $200 over the course of the month. And at the end of the month, I have to pay the $200. Okay? The bank, the credit card is money from the bank. It's not your immediate money at that time. At the end of the month, they're going to charge you and then you have to give your money to them, right? So this is fine if all you spend is the money that you have. Like if you know that you have $200 and you are going to have it at the end and like you're going to pay it at the end of the month, you can do that. I have a credit card. I pay it off every month. It's awesome, right? These are the ones that are like usually pretty fancy, like you get cash back or like you can earn rewards or like these types of things because they're trying to convince you to use your credit card. Why do banks do this? Why do credit card companies do this, right? What are they just like out of the niceness of their heart? They're just giving you some money for the month. Like it can boost up your credit if you use your credit card and pay it off every month. That will help your credit go up. There's always a catch. Yes, Gabby, there's always a catch. If you use your credit card and at the end of the month, you don't pay all of it, right? So if you use your credit card, you buy a fancy new TV, you buy a bunch of stuff, maybe your credit card bill is $5,000, tons and tons of money, right? If you can't pay off your entire amount, that credit card company is going to pay you or is going to charge you interest, right? And a lot of times that interest is a huge amount of money, right? They're trying to throw you in debt. Yes, they're trying to make you not pay it. They want it to be so easy for you to just swipe all month long that they want you to get to a price that you can't pay, right? Because that's how the credit card company or the bank makes money, right? Because when you can't pay, let's say that, I'm going to put this in the chat. Let's say that you have $2,000 you owe. You pay $2,000 at Starbucks, getting a new TV, at the grocery store, whatever, right? $2,000. And then they charge you, sometimes they can charge you like 20%, right? 20%. Another 20%, that would be like $400 more of interest. So that means not only do you owe the $2,000 from before, you also owe $400 to the credit card company. So now you only got $2,000 worth of stuff, but you now owe $2,400, right? Does that make sense? Are we still tracking here? Do we have any questions about credit cards? Credit cards are not necessarily bad, right? You can have a credit card, pay it off every month, and it does help you. It helps you to boost your credit score, right? And that can be helpful when you're trying to buy a house or trying to buy a car, trying to get a loan, all of those things, right? We just have to be responsible, right? So that is credit cards. This is how credit cards are how people get in lots of debt very fast, right? Because what happens is people think, oh, well, I don't have money now, but I'm going to have money at the end of the month because I'm going to get paid, right? So like right now, I got paid on the 1st of the month, and I know I'm going to get paid on the next 1st of the month, right? Or maybe I know I'm going to get paid on the 15th. Let's do that. So I just got paid yesterday. I spent all my money, right? But now I still want to buy things. So I might put it on my credit card because I know that in the future, I'm going to get paid again on the 1st, right? But sometimes people get into very dangerous spots because maybe they don't get paid that much, right? Or maybe something else comes up, right? Yeah, when you pay on time, your credit goes up. But if you slack off, if you don't pay, your credit goes down, right? And that's bad news because that makes it harder and harder to get banks to trust you, okay? So the alternative to a credit card is a debit card. A debit card is cool because a debit card gets paid immediately out of your account, okay? So what that means is if I have $100 in my account and I spend $100, if I go out and try to swipe my card again, my card will get declined. Do you guys know what that means to get declined? Might have happened to you, or it might have happened to your parents, maybe it might have happened to your friends. Definitely happened to me when I first started out with a debit card. Basically what it is just electronic cash, right? It's just cash that's on this card and you can swipe it. And if you don't have enough money in your account, the card will get declined, right? They won't let you have it anymore, right? So you basically with a debit card, you're gonna have like, when you run out of money, you run out of money. It's just like you don't have any cash left in your wallet, right? You can't buy stuff. There are some debit cards that like have a transfer policy. So for example, my debit card has like a certain amount of money on it. And then if I run out of money in that account, it will pull from my savings account, but I don't want it to do that, right? I don't want it to take from my savings. That's my savings, right? But the bank is like, oh, like you messed up just a little bit, like we'll take some of your money and move it into your checking account. So debit cards come from your checking account. You don't want to overdraft. Overdraft means that you are trying to pay for something that is too much, right? So if you only have $100 in your bank account, you don't want to spend $120 because that is called overdrafting, right? Overdrafting. What are on this page here? Go ahead and look at this page. What are some of the big vocabulary words that we were talking about today? What were some of the big vocabulary words? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Big vocab. Interest, yep. Interest is a big word. That's the money that you have to pay to the bank. Overdraft, for sure. What is happening here? Nothing is beeping at me. Overdraft, definitely. Spending. Yeah, credit cards will give you a spending limit. We didn't talk too much about this, but they'll say like, okay, like we'll give you maybe $2,000, but you can't spend more than $2,000. So if you try to spend more than $2,000 during that month, they might cut you off. And that's mostly because they don't trust you yet, right? And then as the longer that you have your credit card, the more money they will trust you with, kind of thing. The more money they'll let you spend. And the more money they hope that you won't be able to pay them back, for sure. All right. So we did learn some new words. Let's take a look at them really fast, just like their official definition. Wow, my computer is frozen. This is cute. There we go. All right, let me make this so you can actually see what it says. There we go. All right, so interest. Interest is the money, we talked about this. Interest is the money paid for delaying the repayment, right? So interest is the money, so you want to pay, interest is the extra money that you pay on top. Overdrafting is drawing more money than the account holds, right? So that's where you're saying, like, if I only have $100 and I try to take out 120, I'm not going to be able to do it. That's called an overdraft. A loan is a sum of money that's being borrowed and expected to pay back. And then this one is probably one that we haven't mentioned, an APR. APR, it stands for annual percentage rate. Annual percentage rate. This is the interest rate on a loan. So credit cards will often try to get you by saying, we have a 0 APR for 24 months. Has anyone ever heard that, like in a commercial? Or you might have heard it on a commercial. You might have gotten like a little flyer in the mail, right? Credit card companies try to tell you like 0% financing or something like that. That's something you hear when you're buying a car as well. Basically what they're saying is this is the percent. Remember I said like sometimes it's like as high as like 20% or 25%. APR is like, this is the interest rate. This is how much money they're going to take if you don't pay on time, right? So a really great APR would be 0. That means that they're not going to take any money from you. But that often does not happen. It's more like often, like my credit card right now is like 19, 20%, right? And that's if you don't pay it, that's the extra money you're going to pay. So you want your APR to be as low as possible, but as long as you pay it off, it doesn't matter, right? As long as every single month you pay it off, it does not matter how much your APR is because you're never going to use your APR. Right? Credit cards tend to be very high APR, like 19, 20, 25 sometimes. 14 or higher, basically. Cars tend to be a lot lower, right? So like my APR on my car is like 1% or something very small. All right. Get this going. If you're just joining us, we're taking some notes. You're doing great. There we go. All right. And then one of the questions y'all asked was, what's the best bank for students? Right? What's the best bank for students? And I'm fixing this thing, but it's being very crabby. There we go. And the answer is it totally depends, right? Some people use the bank that their parents use. I know I still use the bank that my parents use. Every bank has something different to offer. So it depends on what's best for you. You just want to make sure that you do your research and you're going to like do your research and see what's going to benefit you the most. So some that people really have liked is the Discover It, the student cashback, right? So this is since a cashback card, it is likely a credit card. Journey Student Rewards, that's from Capital One, and then Wells Fargo. The other thing is a credit union you might look into is a credit union. It's like a small bank, right? So these are all like national banks or international banks. And they can be great for some reasons, but credit unions are like banks owned by the people, right? Banks owned by the people. So you can check that out. If you're someone who's like, Miss, can you go back to the notes? The notes are linked in the assignment, and you also have the slides available to you here. So you can also like move through the slides at your own pace if you need to. All right, we're gonna play a game super fast. So we are going to play do or don't. Do or don't. So during this activity, I'm going to read 3 scenarios. You'll have 30 seconds to put your answer into the poll and the chat if you want to message in the chat. We'll discuss the answers afterwards. All right, so here's the first scenario. Dun, dun, dun. First scenario. Go. All right, your debit card personal ID number, the number that you plug into the little machine, your PIN number, is 1234 because it's easy to remember. You're thinking about changing that PIN to something that's less common and harder to steal. Should you change your PIN to something less common? Should you change your PIN to something less common? Hold on. Okay, answer in the poll. Should you change your PIN to something less common? Should you change your PIN to something less common? So your personal ID, you have 10 seconds to vote. Should you change your PIN? Should you leave it something easy to remember so you don't forget? Because what if you're at the store and you need to remember it? What if you forget? What if you lock yourself out of your card? All right. It looks like, I mean, wow, 90% of us are saying like, change your PIN. Jasmine's literally yelling at you in the chat. Yes, when setting your PIN, you want to avoid obvious numbers. You want to avoid your birthday. You want to avoid like a house number or an apartment number. You want to avoid your zip code. You want to avoid like your graduation year. I know lots of us are like, I want to put like 2022 because that's when I graduate. Like, nah, don't do that. Anybody who has your card can probably guess that, right? Don't put anything related to your email address or your Twitter, right? You don't want to do any of your handles, your IG or your Snap, like just don't do it. A thief could easily guess those, right? Because usually if someone steals your card, they might either know you or might know something about you, right? Someone could definitely hack your account. You can think of a 4-letter word if you want. Yeah, that'd be funny. Don't tell anyone your PIN. Like my PIN is 1, just kidding. Don't do that, right? You're not interested in telling other people your PIN. All right, scenario 1, y'all passed. Here we go, scenario 2. Try not to show the answer this time. Scenario 2, you receive a call from someone who claims to be with your bank and says they need to verify your information. They ask for your account information and the numbers on your debit card. Should you share your account information over the phone? Should you share your account information? So they call you, they're from the bank, they're like, hi, it's Wells Fargo. We had a problem with your account, like blah, 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 blah. We had a problem with your account. Are you interested in, or like, can you tell me your information so that we can unlock your account for you? Right, and they're like, you won't be able to use your credit card until you do this. Yes, great. No, definitely not. I agree with these people. Definitely don't do that. A bank employee, someone from the bank or from a credit card company will never call you and ask you for that information. They should already have your information. Absolutely, Amira. If they're calling you from the bank, they already know your account, right? They might ask you to verify like your date of birth, right? They might call you and be like, hi, can you like tell me what day you were born? And you like, that's okay to share. You just don't want to share like you don't want to share your account information over the phone ever. My dad, one time, this is a funny story. When I was in college, I needed to use my dad's credit card and he needed to give me the credit card number over the phone because I'm old and texting didn't exist yet. You also don't want to text your number though, by the way. Don't text your credit. Don't do that. It's easier to steal your text than it is over the phone. He needed to tell me. And so he was giving me clues to what the numbers were. He was like, this number, the first number is the number of siblings you have. And I was like, okay, I have 2 siblings, 2. I wrote down 2. He's like, the next number is like I don't know, a bunch of different things that like only I would know. And he told me all 16 numbers over the phone like that. Right. And it took us a long time, but it was a good way. I know, parent of the year, right? It was a good way for him to tell me all the numbers without like just reading the numbers over the phone. So think about it. Think about it. All right. All right. Scenario number 3. Here's our last scenario. Dun, dun, dun. You've lost your credit card. You're very busy today, right? We're all very busy. So you plan to call the bank later in the week to work it out, right? Should you call right away? Question mark. Stop sharing. Relaunch. Here you go. Should you call right away? Yes. Or should you wait? No. Right? Should you call them right away? Yes. Or should you wait? No. Yeah, this really is a question is, do you love your money or do you not love your money? And this is true for credit cards or debit cards. You lost your credit card. Should you call right away? Yes or no? Five, four, three, two, and 1. All right, well, it looks like our entire class is set on this one. Everybody said yes. Gary said, wait, a friendly person will find it, give it back. No. Yeah, you may wonder. Amira, what are you saying?
Oh, so last year my mom lost her debit card because we went to 7-Eleven and she dropped it. And so, but my mom get notifications on her phone when money is spent. So she got a notification someone spent like $22 on beer. My mom don't drink alcohol, and it was like a liquor store down the street. So this old homeless lady found my mom's card and went to go spend it because some places you don't need to put in your PIN. So she
That's
spent the
true.
money. So my mom called the bank immediately to cancel her card and called the police.
Yeah, those were all the right things. Amira, thank you so much for sharing that story. Some places don't ask you for your PIN on your debit card. Your debit card can be swiped as a credit card, right? So they can swipe it, and they just basically the place pretends that it's a credit card, and then that is possible. You do need to sign, but actually your signature is not doing anything. Anybody can sign for anybody's card. I can't tell you how many times have like swiped my boyfriend's card or swiped a friend's card. Like the signature, you could just, and I mean with the electronic ones, I don't know if you've ever noticed, like I never put my own, like I never sign my name. I just like draw a line on the little electronic thing. It doesn't work either. For debit cards, you're supposed to use your PIN number, like your 4-digit number. But just like on Amazon, if you put your card information into Amazon, there's nowhere to sign and there's no PIN number to put in. And so they just basically charge your card without that happening. So you got to be super careful. If you lose your card, do call them. If you put off calling your bank to notify them of your lost card, you could forget to do it. That's one thing. Someone could find and use your card, like Amira's mom. So you want to report it immediately, because if you report it right away, they can stop your card. Basically, they just turn off your card. It doesn't work anymore, and then they can't take any money. In Amira's case, like $22 was taken, but they could buy like a new TV, right? And as long as you have that amount of money in your account, then that money could come out. At McDonald's, you don't need to put in your PIN. Yeah. So they can this is called freezing your account. They can freeze it so basically no one can spend it anymore. And it's okay. What happens is they'll send you a new debit card in the mail, right? And like it might take like 2 or 3 days, but it's usually pretty fast. Same thing with credit cards. They can like pause it. And a lot of banks have like accident prevention, which means like they'll pay you back for the money that was taken from your account, right? So super important that you like have a good bank, because you want to get that money back just in case. All right, those were our 3 scenarios. You all passed with flying colors. Great job. that is the end of our session for today. My computer really hates this. What other questions, if any, do we have? What other questions? Wow, Roxana. Yeah, if you lose your card, you gotta call them to replace it too, right? Because you don't know if you lost it like in your house or if you lost it out in the world. If you lost it out in the world, you gotta cancel it.
I have a quick question, Miss.
Yeah, Jess, go ahead.
Okay, so I know we're not learning about this yet, but how does it connect to taxes? Really quickly. Like, let's say for college, I want a credit card to boost my credit score because I want to get a house earlier, if that works, like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
let's say I only use my credit card for like small things, and I use actual cash to buy bigger things and then pay it back like that. How would I include my taxes of that? I don't know if my question makes sense because I'm almost as confused as my question is.
No,
But
that
I
makes
just want to
sense.
know really quickly. Oh,
Yeah, it
okay.
makes sense. Yeah, it does. Your credit card is not related to your taxes. So your taxes are just going to pull the money that your income. So like whatever you're making from your paychecks, whoever's paying you. So for example, Hybrid High sends me a paycheck every other week. And I have to report all of that money on my taxes. If I had a small business and I was pulling in cash or other kinds of money, I would have to report that information. If I went and worked at McDonald's for a week, I would have to report that information. All of that, any money that I'm getting from anywhere, any legal source of money has to be reported on my taxes. Your spending doesn't have to be reported. So how you spend your money is not related to your income taxes, like the kind of taxes that you do in like around this time or like April every year. So credit cards and debit cards won't factor into your credit card.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Thank you, Miss.
Yeah, you're welcome. Catching up on the chat, guys, your account will be frozen unless you give your 16-digit number to Gary and the security code to stop it from being frozen. Y'all are silly. The Gary is being a hacker, so don't give hackers your information. Okay, so for your assignment today, in our last few moments, for your assignment today, you're gonna put your notes in here, whatever notes you took, even if you think they were kind of crappy, you're gonna put them right here, in here. And then for part one, you're gonna have a few more scenarios. So like this one, your friend asks to borrow your debit card so they can run to the ATM and get some cash. Should you lend your debit card to your friend? Why or why not? So you're gonna explain, should you do it or not? This one says you check your online bank statement and you see a fraudulent charge. That means like a fake charge or like someone spent your money. A fraudulent charge on your account tied to your debit card. You immediately call your bank to discuss the problem. Should you wait to call the bank? Explain why or why not. And then this one, you receive a call from a charity raising money. Even though you're not familiar with the charity, you feel it would probably be helpful to give them money. So you give them your credit card information to make a donation. Should you have given them your credit card information? Explain why or why not, right? So you have 3 scenarios. You probably have a pretty good idea of whether the answer is yes or no at this point. And then you're gonna take this 4-question quiz, and it's just about the things that we learned today. You'll click there, put a screenshot just like normal. And if you have any additional questions, you have that information right there, okay? Are there any questions related to our assignment today?
Excuse me, Miss Mac.
Uh-huh.
This is not totally related to the assignment today. I was just wondering, have you heard that people is adding like things to the ATM to like fake things to like get to your card?
Yeah. So what happens is sometimes they'll put these little readers, credit card readers, inside of an ATM, right? So they'll kind of like mess with an ATM and they'll hack these little things that they put inside. And when they do that, what happens is they read your credit card number or your debit card number. It hasn't happened in a lot of places so much as I've heard. But this is a good reason to try to use like an indoor ATM if you have one, or if you can actually like go to your bank and use the ATM there to get money. That can be really helpful. That means that like what happens is you put the card in, it reads the number, and then they often have a hacker will install a camera like above or behind you. So a good thing to do when you are putting in your PIN number is to cover it up with your hand. Right. So if this is the pad right here, you could use one hand to cover it up and one hand to put in the numbers, right? So that they can't see it. You want to do this at gas stations. You can do it at the store, anywhere where you're putting in your PIN number. You don't want anyone to see your PIN number because that's like your password. They can get in and take your money. So you want to be careful with that. Amira, I wouldn't worry too much about the swiping one because they can't do anything without without the number that's like on the back of your card or your PIN number. So you want to definitely like be careful with your PIN number. And yeah, Gary's right. The ATMs at any like stores can sometimes be super shady, or like especially at like a liquor store or like a convenience store. So you definitely want to go to an official bank ATM if you can to get your money out. Okay. Y'all, did we learn some things today, or did we have a good time today? Yeah. Yes. So glad. So glad. I'm pumped. Okay. You have your assignment to turn in today on Canvas, and then you are done for today. And I'll see you on Thursday for another episode of Money, Money, Money from Miss Mac. Wow, y'all, I'm going to make up a name. Money, Money, Money from Miss Mac. That's it. All right. Money, Money, Money from Miss Mac. Like, comment, subscribe. See you all later. Bye. Bye, friends. Bye.